That's right. Gonna be a Baptist preacher so that I won't have to work. Well, I'm in the pulpit, jumping up and down, 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 down. Yeah, I'm in the pulpit, jumping up and down. Okay. Well, I've been hollering good news all the miles around. My sister jumped up now, ooh, she began to grin. Yeah, she did. Well, my sister jumped up, ooh, she began to grin. She said, good Lord have mercy, please forgive me for my sins. Forgive me now, please, please, please. Oh, oh, oh. Ah, yes. Let me religion. Gonna join the Baptist church. Climb up this mountain, shine down upon our world. Get me religion. Gonna join the Baptist church.
Good
evening.
Back in the bar.
We're back.
Back for Finnegan's.
Back, been
It's
a while.
Been a little while, hasn't
It
it?
has, yeah. Yeah.
Say hello to us if you're joining us for the
Yeah,
evening.
come on.
It's nice to welcome you into Finnegan's for an evening again.
An evening, yeah. Pull up a stool.
Pull up a stool, grab a pint. You can
Drink
have
of your choice.
whatever
Yeah.
you fancy.
Yeah. And then we'll chat the night away. We'll catch up on what we've been doing for the last few weeks and that. And we've got a couple of great guests tonight, haven't we?
Well, let's welcome them straight away,
Okay,
shall we?
go
Let's
on.
go on over because tonight we've got Charlie Hanson and his chauffeur, no, Andy Camson. Andy's come out for the evening.
Thanks for having us, boys.
Yeah,
I'll tell
right.
you what,
Jobs are good. Pleasure to be here.
it's ace to have you here. And
Yeah.
I can't wait to get to know you a little bit.
No.
Well, obviously, I know Andy. I know all about Andy.
know.
I
All
don't.
good stuff, though, isn't it?
Well, that's it. Yeah, all good stuff. And we
I've
obviously
met Andy before, like, well,
Yeah.
I don't know him that well.
he's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Charlie, he's told me all sorts about Charlie, so we're looking forward to get to knowing him a little bit. But it'll be a good one. It'll be a
Yeah.
good one.
It will. So what's been going on? So should we say what the podcast is
Go
about
on, you
first?
tell everyone what's it about.
This is a bit of a come along, as we said. We want to talk to people who wouldn't necessarily normally go to church, and so pull up a pint, pull up a stool, get a drink with us, have a drink, and we chat life, we chat nonsense, don't we? Like
We
you
do.
would in the pub with your mates.
We do.
Yeah, we just chat nonsense.
And it's all sorts
we
of different.
solve everything, don't we?
Yeah, it's a different vibe in it every week. Sometimes it's a little bit wild, a bit crazy,
Yeah.
as it can be down the
Yeah.
pub, and then some weeks it's chilled. It
just
feels a bit
chilled
chilled
and
tonight,
quiet.
doesn't it?
Yeah, I
Like
think
a
we're
quiet
finding
pint.
our feet as well,
Quiet.
after 3 weeks away. Like,
Yeah.
So, sometimes like that. Sometimes you go down the pub and you just sit there, you don't really talk much. That would make a really boring podcast, wouldn't it?
Some people would appreciate it
Some
if you
people
didn't talk so much, Alan.
you shut up. Yeah, but no. I tell you.
Very good.
So, yeah.
So why have we been away for 3 weeks? What's been happening? What have you been doing?
Well, I went on holiday, didn't I?
Again, Charlie, this man, I don't know what you do for a living. We'll find that out. But this man is a minister, and it's a lot of holidays. That's all I'm going to say. It's a lot of holidays.
And what I'm going to say to you, Charlie, is This man used to have a lot of holidays, right? Because he used to be working with me as a minister, right?
Yeah.
Right. But now that he works for the Message, he's only got so many days, right? And he has to book them properly.
Yeah.
So now he can't just sneak off on a cheeky week somewhere, you know,
He's a
like he used to.
slave.
Have you been on holiday as well?
I've been on holiday as well. That's
Oh,
why,
yeah.
yeah. I thought,
Yeah.
You know, I've got to keep up with you.
Where did you go?
I went on a cruise.
Oh.
Have you ever been on a cruise, Charlie?
Do you know, believe it or not, I've never been on a cruise. I've been invited that many times because I used to be in the entertainment business, but it's something that I never ever wanted to do.
Oh.
I don't. I mean,
I do now.
Yeah.
And I will do. I will do.
So that's it, isn't it? Because we're going to find out. But Charlie's a comedian.
Yeah.
Or was a comedian. We'll work all that out.
We'll get there.
And
We'll
you do a bit of comedy on the cruise ships, don't you?
You can do, yeah.
And then you get a free holiday. That Alan would get offered that, but he wouldn't want to work. He'd see that as well.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do that. No.
Evening,
It's
Barbara.
a tough give, that one.
Barbara's back in. Crumpet Barbara. Say hello if you're in for
Evening,
the night.
Barbara.
If you're joining us, nice to see you, Barbara. People have missed us.
No, have they?
Yeah.
Doesn't look like no one's here.
I've had messages. I've had messages saying people missed us. Looking
they
forward
didn't
to having
send
us
me
back.
messages saying they missed me.
Do you know what? On Sunday, it was brilliant because right at the beginning of the service, someone came up to me, Charlie, and it was a bit of an AGM, like a celebration service. And someone came up to me and they said, I was reading in my Bible notes this morning and it said about your minister, you know, me and Alan are both ministers at the same church. And it says, you know, be thankful for your minister. And so he came up to me and said, Tom, I really want to thank you. You're a great minister. Thank you for all you do. So as we started the service, I said, I really appreciate Dave saying to us today that he's for
Dave.
It was Dave. Oh, Matthew. Matthew said we're a fantastic minister, and then Alan sat there and said, "Well, he didn't say anything to me. Didn't even bring it up."
No.
So
well, at least I remembered your name. You know what I mean? Not like him, Dave. Dave said it to me. No, it wasn't. It was Matthew.
Where were you on holiday anyway?
Where was I? I went to Turkey.
Evening, Dan. Nice to see you, mate.
Turkey. See if I could get some turkey teeth and then the new bonds.
They didn't do your hair,
Didn't do
they?
it. No, not yet. I'm gonna get a price. I think.
Get a price.
Get a price on my head, so I'll come back with a big mop of hair.
And where did they take the hair from?
I don't know. They can take it off my back. I've got loads on there.
So yeah,
back of my neck.
You should do.
Got always loads as well.
So you sat by the pool for a week. 10
Mostly,
days.
yeah. I went shopping once. That was a bit boring.
Yeah.
But she liked it. But I went to watch the match. So watch Liverpool out there, yeah.
Was that the one where you got robbed with the VAR decision?
No, we were back then.
Okay.
No, you went on your holiday then.
I was on my holiday then. So I went on a cruise, and I don't know. I think I would recommend it. You love it, don't you?
I
think
it's ruined every other holiday for me.
Yeah, Andy was saying, wouldn't you? Someone's recommended a cruise to you, Andy. Eh?
Yeah, I'd love to do a cruise. I was saying to you before, wasn't I? It's usually like years ago, it was for like 50, 60-year-olds. Now it's like, you know,
that's why
young
Alan
like
goes.
us.
Young guys like us. How old are you?
I think you might just
You might be just a target audience now.
Yeah, that's all that's happened, Andy. You slid towards the target audience.
Tom's probably still young enough to not go on a cruise, but he's getting there. Nearly 40 now.
Nearly 40.
Are you 39, 38?
39.
You're 39 now, yeah?
Yeah.
Look, you still haven't got an hair on your chin. Still look about 13.
Ray said when he went to Turkey, they took his hair away. Didn't add to it.
Went to Turkish barber, didn't he?
Yeah.
So,
very good.
So,
No, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the cruise.
No, the cruise is good. The trouble is the quality of everything is good. So when you go on cheaper holidays and it's not as good quality, you feel like you've wasted your money.
It's a lot.
Food.
Yeah. It's a lot of food. It is a lot of food, non-stop
But it's
eating.
nice food, isn't it?
It is nice food.
I don't think I've had maybe one bad meal on a cruise, but then you just go, I didn't like that. Can I have another one? And they'll get you something else. I was on a cruise and they had lobster. I've never had lobster in my life, right? And I thought, shall I try it? And I thought, what happens if I ate it? So I'm looking, and I'm in an hand, and the waiter says to me, what do you want? And I said, well, I want to try the lobster, but I might not like it, so I'll get the steak. And he went, just order both, sir. So I did.
Sounds good. I'll have to try a cruise.
Do you know what?
We
have to go. We should do a boys' trip, I imagine. Boys' trip.
Wednesday night at
Tonight.
Finnegan's.
Yeah. I don't think Joyce is watching tonight. So
I think she is.
Joyce, you complain.
She's
in the
not well
comments.
tonight. She's in
not?
bed. She's asleep. Well, she's lying in bed sick, but
Is she?
there's a telly upstairs.
So she
she'll
might
be
be
watching.
watching it.
She'll be watching.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we went for my wife's 40th birthday, and so it was a trip for her, but also so she picked the restaurants. But I have quite a serious fish allergy, but she decided to pick a sushi restaurant.
Emma, I want you to write in about this serious fish allergy. There's no way you've got a fish. You ate a fish with Chippy once when he was about 14, and then since then he was sick, and since then he's got a fish allergy. He hasn't at all.
And so I had sushi. Have you ever? I mean, that's just not a thing I ever would have imagined I'd have eaten.
Sometimes there's not even
sushi.
fish in sushi.
Well, it was bits. There was little the eggs on top. What's that called?
I don't know.
She can't have
Caviar.
You can't have any
Maybe.
fish.
I
You can't have
can't.
any fish.
Charlie,
He can, Charlie.
Honestly, you don't want to see what happens if I eat fish.
Charlie.
You come out in a rash.
I don't know if you ever saw that film Hitch, where he has an allergy and his face swells up. My head goes even bigger than this. It's
Charlie,
terrifying.
take no notice of him. Honestly, he's a hypochondriac.
I don't know if I think I've got my EpiPen with me somewhere.
You're an EpiPen.
I'm like that with penicillin,
Got a
actually.
big pen.
What, you can't have penicillin?
Yeah, allergic to penicillin.
Yeah. What happens if you have that?
I come out in this horrible rash and I go completely red. Redder than that Liverpool shirt.
Well, Ray's up for a boys' cruise straight away. And Joyce is watching.
I told you.
Absolutely no boys' cruises under any circumstances, she says. So she's all right. She is watching. She took herself out of her like.
She might not last a night though.
No.
Might go on the insurance money.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's a bit harsh. Have you got her on life insurance?
Of course I am. Works for the NHS. Got one of the best ones going.
Very good. Well, Charlie. Thank you for coming over. Charlie's come over from Warrington this evening, and he's
thank you.
a Man City fan. And Andy's come over from Wythenshawe, and he's a Liverpool fan. Yeah. So make of that what you will.
Yeah.
And would you like to talk about the football too?
Well, I mean, football is a bit divisive amongst our crowd, but what do you think you'll win the league this season, Charlie? Is it going to happen?
I still think we'll win the league. I think the last few games we've lost 3 out of 4 games. We've not had Rodri playing. We've not had Kevin De Bruyne playing.
Yeah.
We're not the same creative-wise. And when we're not creative, you will notice that Haaland, like Zlatan Ibrahimovic...
Yeah, it's a waste of space.
He doesn't run about. I mean, like Manny for Liverpool will always close the goal. When he used to play at Liverpool, Gary Neville said he's the best defender on the pitch because he closes down from the front. Now, Alvarez nearly scored doing that the other day, but if you notice, Haaland will never do it. And Pep had a bit of a debate with him on the pitch a few months ago when he said, come on, start closing people down.
Yeah.
But he'll never do that. His body language is like Zlatan. It's like, give me the ball, I'll run onto it, I'll score, but I'm not chasing people down. And that's who he is. But
in fairness to him, he does score those,
exactly.
doesn't he? Most of the time.
But was that a first season thing? Have we clocked on now? Because he's not getting many chances now, is he? And I only know that because he's my captain in fantasy, and I'm sticking with him, and he's doing nothing.
I haven't captained him the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, who did you captain this time?
Oh, I don't know, Son or someone like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't worth it. Like week before though, got it. Forget who it was.
I've stopped doing my team.
Defender, I had
still beating you.
Week before. You're not beating me. You're behind me.
Charlie, tell us a little bit about yourself. And Andy's going to jump in as we go, and we'll have a little conflab.
Don't forget to talk about Nuggets of the Week first.
Oh, go on. Yes. Yeah. What are we doing this week? Are you giving away a beer?
We'll give beer mats.
We've got beer mats.
We can't give that beer away. It's terrible. It's
Alan's going.
The worst beer ever.
Andy, you're like this because message and community groceries. Basically, Alan's brewed his own beer to sell, and all the profits will go to buying food for the community grocery.
Love it.
But so far,
I'm out of pocket. It wasn't worth selling.
So he's going to the grocery and he's stealing food to make up for the money he's lost.
I'm getting to pay it forward at the grocery.
You tell Danielle because he's causing issues here. But anyway, so Nugget of the Week will get some mats, some butts.
So the Nuggets of the Week is if you make what we consider the best comments of the week. Doesn't have to be funny, just has to be the best comments of the week, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, and then and we'll send you some beer mats. As long as you live in England.
And Alan's, as long as you live within distance of us to be able to hand them to you physically.
No, we can post them.
We post them.
We post them, yeah.
And
if Joyce puts them in the post this time, not leave them in a bag for 3 weeks.
Yeah. The only thing to say is this time next week, You're going to be a granddad.
Probably, yeah.
Can you imagine? Granddad for the first time next week.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm going to be a granddad. I'm going to be a grumpy granddad. No
Yeah,
one
you
them
surprised me.
grumpy granddads.
Yeah, I know.
I fit the bill,
You've
boss,
been a
don't
grumpy
I?
granddad
When
for
I put
about
my
30
glasses,
years.
then I put my glasses on and look like the fella off Up. Don't
Yeah.
Know what I mean?
Yeah. Are you a granddad yet, Andy? No.
No, well, I hope not. Not that I know of.
He's got the beard.
Very good. I'm only messing. Charlie, tell us a little bit about yourself then, mate. I'm interested to find out more because I genuinely don't know you at all.
Yeah, okay, well, that's good.
Yeah.
That means you can lie to us, Tom.
That's going to do all your money then.
I'm here to make sure you tell the truth.
That's it, Andy. Andy will keep you on the straight and narrow.
Yeah, okay, yeah. My name is Charles Hanson. I grew up in Warrington, Cheshire.
Nice.
And it wasn't Cheshire when I grew up, actually. It was Lancashire. They made us Cheshire so they could put the house prices up in the house.
Is that what they did?
Yeah, that's what they done. Yeah, as soon as we become Cheshire, woof, all the house prices went up. Yeah.
This used to be Lancashire here as well. They put us into Bootle and no lads went down.
Was it classed as Lancashire?
This was classed as Lancashire.
Wow.
Yeah. Bootle was Lancashire, yeah. But they lumped us into Merseyside. Can we say?
Merseyside.
But anyway,
Do
sorry.
you know, I can't remember that, you know.
Yeah, this was
Yeah.
Lancashire, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, as I say, when I left school, I became a professional footballer for a short while. I
nice.
played at Man City, Wigan, and Crewe.
Did you? You
But,
played at
yeah.
Man City?
Yeah, but
That
I
was
wasn't in the
rubbish back
first
then,
team or
eh?
anything. I was only sort of from 16 years old to 18 years old playing in the youth teams, and then I had an injury, and that injury finished my career off. And for me, once my career was finished off, it life was over. And
Really?
then a few years later, my dad died, and life was certainly over. So really didn't want to be here. I was suicidal, wanted to kill myself. But the fact is, what gave me a new lease of life, instead of being Charlie Hanson, who was suicidal and depressed, I became Charlie Hale. And that was my stage name. So I just shot off on this crazy journey of 30 odd years till I crashed, nearly 40 years till I absolutely crashed. And I suffered from insomnia, and I suffered from, it's crazy what I'm going to tell you now, because you've got to understand this. As I say, my dad died, my football career failed, so Charlie Hanson ceased to exist for me.
Yeah.
So I became Charlie Hale. So I started to become successful as an entertainer. I was in a double act called Hale and Hearty, went on my own, but I'm running at 100 mile an hour. I was radio presenter. I was an auctioneer. I had a sports memorabilia business. I was a comedian. I was middleman for promoters. I was helping every charity going. Ended up doing kids football. I was doing that many things. You know, people say you need 8 hours in a night. I used to get 8 hours in a week sometimes.
Wow.
2 hours each night. So inside you're zombified and you're like that all the time. So you're never in control of your emotions. You know, 2 Corinthians 10:5 tells us, take captive of every thought. But it's hard to take captive of any thought when you're just like you're zombified inside. So, you know, you're going through life making the wrong decisions and everything. And even though I knew the Lord, I didn't really know my identity was in Jesus. That might sound crazy. Even though I was a Christian, it's only been this last few years when I retired that I knew my identity was in Jesus, because 2018, it was quite tragic. I found my brother dead on the stairs. And, it was coming towards the end of my career. I couldn't cope whatsoever with the pace had set. It was a mad lifestyle. And the drivers he had who driven for me, I mean, 2 of them had nervous breakdowns. 1 of them died early. And that's keeping up the pace with me, So praise God, I'm still here, because it was crazy.
Wow.
That was a lot.
That's only a tip
You almost
of the
didn't say
iceberg.
goodbye.
I felt like you give us
That's only a tip of the iceberg.
thought he said I'm Charlie and I come from Manchester. That's what we were on for at that point. Not like so.
We've just got to dig deeper
Yeah,
into that,
yeah,
mate. That's
all of that,
incredible.
all of that.
Absolutely incredible.
So you're a professional footballer.
Yeah.
You're in the youth level and all that, but with big dreams and all that. And then that doesn't happen. That, as you said, that does your head in.
Yeah.
And then
Totally.
your dad passes away on the back of that, which is even worse. But so how did you go from footballer? Because they're usually quite focused footballers on just being a footballer. They don't really care about much else. How did you go from that to end up entertainer? How did that happen? How did you get into being a comedian? For
the thing
starters?
is, everybody used to say to me, look, you should become a comedian, you're funny. And I used to think, no, I don't want to do that, because I used to go watching comedians, and sometimes I'd watch them, there'd be 200 people in the audience, I'd be laughing my head off, and all the other 199 were staring at them. So I used to think, I'd hate to do that for a living. There's no way I'd do that for a living. And then he ended up starting a double act called Hale and Harter.
Wow.
So how? That's what I'm on about. You don't just suddenly jump up on a stage, do you?
No, you don't. I mean, I remember the first time I ever done anything was on Padgett campus in Warrington. They had about 5 minutes of material.
Yeah.
Then after about half hour, the audience were just like that. What's this guy doing? So I jumped in at the deep end.
Right.
But when I started my double act, we used to do a lot of talent shows. So I'd get here, there, and everywhere, 7 nights a week doing talent shows.
So you'd be the presenters, like free. The hosts of the talent show?
Well, no. We were a double act, Hale and Harter. So
you were
it's like
entering.
Morecambe and Wise, Cannonball, that type of thing, you see.
So you were driven. Like if you were, like you say, there was something about your mindset that was driven, like towards, like, are you quite a all or nothing person? Do you find that?
I can be, but it was an addiction, because, as I say, it was like, I just put myself aside and said, right, Charlie Hanson doesn't exist, so I became Charlie Hale, and Charlie Hale just set up at 100 mile an hour, non-stop. I mean, I remember when we actually toured Germany, and they had a competition. Now, I've always led quite a clean life. I've never drunk, never smoked, never took a drug in my entire life, ever. But, I remember when we were in Germany, and they all had this competition who could stay awake the most, and everybody was popping everything, and I didn't pop anything, and I stayed awake the most 3 days and 2 hours.
You stayed awake for 3 days?
2 hours.
2 hours. And then did you choose to fall asleep, or did you just collapse?
Well, honestly, Dan, woke up in A&E. Whatever A&E is in Germany.
I mean, we used to stop in a hotel in Zoast, and I'll never forget, It was quite funny, everybody was falling asleep.
I'll just have breakfast. No bed.
But that's what it was like. It was mad. I can remember them all falling asleep, and then I jumped up shadowboxing, and they thought this man's mad. But that was the energy I had, you see. And when it's easier when you because I suffered from insomnia. Sleep to me, I didn't.
That wasn't a fair competition, then, was it?
No.
Well, it wasn't. It wasn't.
That's not fair. If you suffer from insomnia, go into a non-sleeping contest.
Exactly.
That's not hard, eh?
But I never popped anything. I have to say. But the insomnia did help. But that with the work addiction, you see, I actually couldn't serious. It becomes a mental illness. I couldn't switch my mind off.
Yeah. Okay.
Serious. It's a mental illness. I couldn't do it.
I remember listening to Robbie Williams, and he was like, they asked him how he was so confident on stage and that, and he said, before I go on, I'm a mess, and I'm scared, and I think I'm going to make a mess of it, and it's going to be awful and all that. He said, but I go on, and I become Robbie Williams.
Yeah.
He said, that's not me off stage.
Yeah.
And you're sort of explaining that you became this other person because you wanted your other life to forget about that.
Yeah. Well, let me just tell you a story. You mentioned Robbie Williams. I mean, I done their first ever television show, which was Hangar 17, 1992, BBC One. I was on that show with Tate.
Right.
And I'll tell you a funny story. There's a girl called Hyacinth, her name is. Looks nothing like the other Hyacinth, by the way. And she was a dancer. And all the lads were chatting. She's a very attractive girl, and all the lads were chatting up. And she come over and she said, Charlie, can you pretend me my boyfriend? So I remember saying to Robbie Williams, I said, excuse me, mate. I said, that's my girlfriend. He said, oh, I'm sorry about that. And they were all apologising to me.
Wow.
But he's a lovable rogue, Robbie, isn't he? I think, actually,
it's a nice
confidence,
guy.
Isn't it?
Emma would leave me for Robbie if he showed some interest, I think.
I'd let it.
I have to make sure they never meet.
Imagine what you get, the money you get off the back of that.
I don't think he's going to pay me, is he?
Well, you've got to do it.
He's a nice guy, actually.
Tell us to take the kids, though, as well.
Yeah.
I used to do a lot of entertaining with his dad, Pete.
Right.
His dad, Pete's a singer.
Is he?
Yeah, I used to do a lot with his dad, Pete. Nice guy, Pete.
Where Robbie Williams is just a fat dancer, isn't he?
Who said that?
Oasis.
Did they?
Yeah.
So
he's not, just in case he comes after me.
Yeah.
You really slip.
His dad might come for
Might come for me, yeah.
So Charlie, what happened next then? We covered a lot of ground quickly.
Yeah.
Then so you're a performer and a successful one.
Yeah.
I mean, if you could share a little bit how you go about that with Alan, that would be appreciated. But we could do that later off air because this is about you. You'd love a bit of advice.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
But how so you've got that successful career. There's all sorts of. Is there highlights? Like you talk about tough times. What would be some of the highlights? Because you did TV stuff. You did. You were successful.
I would say probably the highlight for me will always be in my life was when I was on Carlton Television and we done the Emma Awards, which was the ethnic media multicultural awards, and they asked me to present Muhammad Ali with an award. Presented Muhammad with that award, so that would be my highlight personally.
Giving Muhammad Ali an award.
Wow,
that's
impressive, isn't it?
I actually knew Muhammad very well, and I knew him for a lot of years. And in fact, he's got a book out called My Brother Muhammad Ali, and I'm in that book. There's 10 pages and 3 stories on me with Muhammad Ali in the book. My Brother Muhammad Ali.
What are the stories? Are they any good? What are they about?
Well, the stories about when we were in London. I mean, I'll never forget one day and this would never happen to other boxers because Muhammad was a gentleman. I was only about 18 at the time, and this guy came up to Muhammad and he's poking him in the chest.
Wow.
And I shoved him away, this guy, and he sort of fell over and everybody was laughing. And Muhammad said, people like that, he said, they're looking for me to hit them or something so they can claim.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, he wouldn't have poked somebody like Mike Tyson, but he knew Muhammad was such a gentleman, that he wouldn't do anything about it.
Wow.
Nice.
I mean, that's one of the stories. I remember we were in we're on about football as well, but do you remember Gerald Sinstad, the commentator?
Yes. I do. I like the way you looked at me there.
You've
judged me age.
yeah. Me and you will remember. Not certain about Andy will remember. But anyway,
keep me out of it.
I know, keep you out of it. But this guy come up to Muhammad and he said, "We collecting money for the Gerald Sinstad Boxing Club," and they were conning him.
Right.
So I said, "Muhammad," I said, "There's no Gerald Sinstad Boxing Club." He said, "You're lying, lads." They said, "We're not." I said, "No, you're lying." Anyway, they were lying because he never had a boxing club because I knew Gerald Sinstad. I was actually on Kickoff many years ago, that football programme when I played for Wigan Athletic. But the thing was, he still gave him money. And I said to him, "What did he give him money for?" He just went like that, enough to say, "Everybody cons me." Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's the type of guy he was.
Right. Yeah.
If people know, like, there must be an element of just having the mick taken out of you if you're
I wouldn't know.
A celebrity or famous like that.
Wouldn't know.
I'm not looking at you.
But you're looking at Andy.
And so you talk to us about coming to the end of your career and that being, I don't know, was it a crisis moment in your life?
Oh yeah. I mean, I've done like 104 television shows.
Yeah.
And in 2018, I remember I was really struggling after my brother's death when I found my brother dead, really traumatized. And I used to come home off gigs at like 7, 8 in the morning sometimes, and then I'd have an hour's sleep and start again. Sometimes I wouldn't sleep. But as I say, you're not focused, your mind cannot focus. That so many years of insomnia. I mean, I've had 5 car crashes, 4 of them, which maybe I shouldn't even be alive. And God's kept me. Where I fell asleep at the wheel. I remember falling asleep at the wheel one day, bumped like that. Next minute, it was on the left-hand side. There's a big girder on my left-hand side, and I looked like that could have took my head off.
My word.
You know what I mean? God's been very good to me in so many ways. But in 2019, I was at the doctors a lot. I was having real stress attacks on my chest. I was having headaches and really, really struggling, a lot of nonsense and unsavory things happened. But, 3 months before COVID, God said to me, That's enough, retire. So I retired 3 months before COVID. Now, I'm ashamed to say this. While the whole world was panicking about COVID, God switched me isomania off. God got me to retire. And I sat down, and I love COVID. Was one of the best times of my entire life. I know I'm being selfish. I'm being really selfish there.
Yeah.
After 40 years, 38 years of non-stop work, to sit down and just do nothing like I am now, just do nothing was something I couldn't do. Because, I couldn't relax,
It
Right.
forced a lot of people to slow down, and stop, didn't it?
And some people
reflect.
haven't got back, have they?
But the key is this was 3 months before
what are you talking
COVID.
about?
So this is the key, though. 3 months before COVID, I retired.
Yeah.
3 months before it ever come out.
Yeah.
You see, that was the difference, you see. Now, God knew it was coming out, and God got me to retire 3 months. That was great. And then as the COVID come out and everybody was panicking, and, I'm sort of not loving it that people are dying, but selfishly thinking this is my time to relax and do nothing.
And so you were able to, during that time, you were able just to
recalibrate,
slow down again. And you're coming off the back of a few decades of
non-stop
pace. And your body, your health is carrying the damage done by that.
Yeah.
But you're talking about God and faith in the midst of that, and in a sense, feels like you're saying that you could see God's hand in the situation. And so for you, how did that how did that time how did you see God working in that way?
See, as a healing evangelist,
okay,
I don't know numbers, but I reckon there's a few thousand been healed, and I don't know how many people have given their life to the Lord, because this is how God would work with me. I'm going to tell you, I would go into church on a Sunday morning because my ex would always want me to go to church, and I'd had 2 hours sleep, so I'm like that, and I go to church, and then in the middle of church, I'd always
Do you know what I find amazing? You're an insomniac, but as soon as you get in church, you're falling asleep. I think that's a common problem, isn't it? That seems to happen, especially in our gaff.
Snore.
That's just normally Alan, didn't he?
Fell asleep with your barbecue.
Yeah, I did.
God's healed him of insomnia for sure, by the sounds of it.
But falling asleep at a wheel or in church was no problem.
Yeah, that's it. Fair play to you.
But you know something, though, seriously, what used to happen was God would use me in a way. I'll give you an example. I would visit hospitals at 3-4 o'clock in the morning, pray for people on the deathbeds. People would be coming off the deathbeds.
Wow.
Excuse me, I pray for the rich and famous.
Yeah.
I prayed with Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali. I've prayed with so many different people.
Talk about praying for Wayne Rooney.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Yeah, I'm glad you reminded me of that, Andrew. Yeah, 2006, I prayed for a mate of mine who'd had a bad back for 20 years, and the Lord healed his back. And he was fascinated with it. So it was at the time Wayne Rooney wasn't going to the World Cup.
Right.
He said to me, Wayne wants you to pray for him. So they took me to a restaurant, Lounge 10 in Manchester. Evander Holyfield was there, the Christian boxer.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lady there telling fortunes, and I told her that it was wrong, and I told her what God said about it. She reared up on me. I thought she was going to flatten me. She did rear up on me big time. But I prayed for Wayne. Anyhow, I said to him, look, I said, God sees you as his son. I said, the world sees you as his famous footballer. I said, I told him about salvation. I prayed for him. Now, when I prayed for him, he said to me, mate, he said, I felt a lovely warm feeling. Anyhow, a week later, I get a knock on the door. I open the door. There's a famous newspaper, which I won't mention. And they said, are you the miracle man? I said, so what do you mean? He said, you the miracle man, you heal all these celebrities. I said, I don't heal anybody. I said, I pray for them. Jesus heals them. They said, no, you've healed Wayne Rooney. You heal all these celebrities. We're going to make you a star. I said, how do you mean this? So they rattled a list off of famous celebrities who had prayed for them, thinking somebody has told the press here. And, the press make a mockery of everything. They exaggerate stuff, they lie, they make a mockery of anything. So I thought, wow. So anyhow, they were offering me money, and I said, you know, I can't take it. Told them about Ananias and Sapphira in the Bible, said, you know, God's not for sale. I wouldn't give them a story. Anyway, I said to a few people, I said, which one of you guys, I said, because I only told a few people and pray for Wayne Rooney. I said, who's told the press? I said, I've had the press knocking on my door and everybody denied it. I said, well, one of you's lying. But I found out in the end, nobody was lying. What it was, you remember the phone hacking scandal?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, within that phone hacking scandal, all these celebrities were mentioning me praying for them and God healing them. You know, but obviously that, you know, you tell people that you mark 16, 18, you're laying the hands on the sick and they're healed. But a lot of them still think that I'm doing it, you know, and you tell them, you know, it's a great commission and God's doing it. But, you know, that's what had happened anyway. They'd got my name off different celebrities. They'd hacked the phone and my name kept coming up. And that's why they came round my house in 2006. Wow. And Wayne actually went to the World Cup. I mean, I should have prayed hard. He didn't play well. But, you know, all in all, you know, I stood my ground. I wouldn't give him a story, you know. But
so tell me, Charlie, how have you always had faith? Yeah. Have you always been a Christian? Like, where did that come from? Because I'm interested. We've got like you've got loads of good stories, and I'm gonna navigate our way through, and because I'd love to find out more about that. Because you know, you've talked about God using you in incredible ways. Yeah, amazing. Like, but how do you get there? How do you? Did you always have faith? Did you grow up with Christian parents? Like, how did it work? What happened?
No. I was in a bungalow on my own in 1990. And I remember Chris Evans had actually just come round my house and he'd just been like laid off from BSB Sky. I mean, again, you know, I know somebody's going to remember it and somebody won't remember it.
BSB Sky,
Yeah, BSB Sky. Chris was laid off from there, and I remember him coming. He said, it was only a little 2-bedroom bungalow, and he said, I wish I could afford something like this, you know.
Wow.
He said, come down London with me, Charlie. Me and you will do something down London. I said, Chris, no. I said, London's just not the place for me. I said, £1 million a week. I couldn't live down there. You know, the BBC wanted me to rent me a flat down there and live down there, but it's never, ever been me. It's a place to come and go. You know, it just wouldn't have been me. But anyway, 1990, I remember thinking to myself, I'd had quite a bit of money stored up, but I remember thinking that I was just so lonely and I was so depressed and anxious. And to be honest, after the death of my dad and after my football career failing, you know, show business, even though I was quite successful in it, it just didn't do anything for me. And I remember thinking to myself, I need to kill myself. I need to be away from here. Now, I really did plan to kill myself. And I was talking to God and I just said, look, people are telling me you're real. I said, remember, this is 1990 we're talking about. I said, if you're real and you don't want me to kill myself, I want you to make that phone ring once. And guess what? It rung once and I went,
wow.
Like that. And then there was like this peace come over me. And I knew then that God existed and I knew he didn't want me to kill myself.
Incredible. And so for you, that was a moment. Yeah, I guess for you, it was like an all or nothing moment. It was like God. If God's real, there's some sense of purpose and meaning in life. If he's not, there's not, and that, you know.
Yeah, I would have took my own life if that phone answer wrong, because I'd had enough. I'd had enough.
Yeah.
But after that, I still carried on. You know, I had me insomnia. I had my work addiction, and I'm still going at 100 miles an hour, you know, going over to Germany, Northern Ireland, Wales, on tour everywhere. By this time, I'd gone on my own in 1990. And that was when between 1992 and 1999, I started to do a lot of television. But whenever I did do a television show, I'd come off television and I'd always think, it's not the same because, you know, my dad didn't see it. So it was always, everything seemed a failure, no matter what. Like I said, everybody around me was popping pills, drinking, taking drugs. But for me, it was just keep on that work addiction. If I keep working, I don't have to think about things. And I actually didn't know how to switch my mind off spiritually. But as I say, God's using me. I'm praying for people. You know, this is how it would work with me. I remember going to a boxing dinner in Shropshire. And my mate Roddy said to me, he said, Charlie said, Oliver's only got a few weeks to live. Can you pray for him? Now, I've always had, it's funny, people can think as an entertainer, you have faith in yourself and you're cocky and you're confident, but I never had any faith in myself. I've always known that it's God doing everything, and I've had no belief in me whatsoever. But I remember just saying there was 200 people in the room, and I said, right, I said, you know, they say Oliver's got 2 weeks to live. I said, but my God can change things around. So I'm going to say a prayer now, and everybody agrees with me, he's going to live. Now, when you say something like that, and then the family are looking at you thinking, you know, we're going to get you in this boxing ring. But, you know, he lived and he's still alive today. And I had the pleasure of leading the full family to the Lord because of stuff like that.
I mean, that is, for some people hearing that, Charlie, that is going to be like just, it's crazy, isn't it? And I've grown up, you know, I've grown in a similar way to yourself. My dad would, you know, believed what the Bible said about Jesus healing and that people who follow Jesus today can do the same things. And so he prayed for loads of people, you know, and saw some miraculous stuff happen. So for me, kind of grew up around that, but for a lot of people, that will be just mind-boggling, won't it? Like just not, but couldn't believe that that sort of thing could even happen,
especially from Bootle.
but you're saying that you've seen, in a sense, God moving and healing people even today, because that, I think, a lot of people, you know, for a lot of people, that just would be off the wall, wouldn't it? Like they wouldn't be able to comprehend how that might happen.
Yeah, I mean, probably I was thinking, you said to me the craziest thing that's ever happened to me was when I got out of a car at 3 o'clock will be an early night, 4, 5, 6 in the morning, whatever. I would always get out the car not knowing whether it was Andy or whether it was one of you two. I didn't know who it was. You're in these days. And I remember going to Longford Garage at Warrington one day. I think I'd been to the northeast. And it was like something to 5 in the morning. And I seen Brian, my ex-partner, in the double act on the garage, and they're trying to start a car, him and 2 girls. So the Holy Spirit just come over me. So I said, have you prayed? He said, well, we've been waiting for the RAC for 3 hours. I said, no, have you prayed, Brian?
Sure they hadn't robbed it. Screwdriver. Sorry, go on.
No, you're okay. But seriously, I laid hands on the car and I commanded in the name of Jesus for it to start. The Holy Spirit just come over me and the car started.
Wow.
I bet your garages hate you. Mechanics all furious with you, running at you with wrenches and everything.
But that's the thing. I couldn't go to a garage and make that happen. But that was just for that one moment. And I believe that was to show Brian, because Brian's into Greek mythology. And I believe God showed him at nearly 5 o'clock in the morning who he was.
Yeah.
Because every time I see him, I say, you remember that, what happened with that car? And he says, I can't forget it.
Yeah. Wow.
And I say, you need to give your life to Jesus.
Wow.
That's, to be fair, it's, I've seen stuff.
I saw your Skoda when you first arrived at Liverpool. That was definitely a wing and a prayer. That thing.
That was a miracle in itself.
That was unbelievable. That car. I don't know how I ever passed an MOT in the last 5 years before you met me. Never mind.
This car. Sorry, this is an aside, Charlie. We'll get back to the important stuff. I've got a Skoda now.
Yeah, no, you should have seen this one. No, literally every 20 seconds or 15 seconds, it made a noise like
it just beeps. It beeps because there's
every 15 seconds. I'm in the car. I want to smash something. I'm like looking for a hammer to smash this buzzer.
So I was in the car for and said basically, this isn't safe. We've got to go and buy a new car.
Yeah.
So I
literally said, come on, we're going to buy a new car.
I couldn't afford the car. I was paying for that for years. I was in debt.
Another miracle.
It didn't help me out
Another
there.
miracle, eh?
But no, back to serious. I've seen things and miraculous things. And it's amazing, actually. I find it's amazing. Even people of no faith, or they've seen things they can't quite explain.
Yeah.
And it kind of it just leaves that question there. And I don't, we don't see, not everyone gets healed. Yeah. Like, actually, as Christians, we believe one day God will sort everything out. People do die, but I have seen stuff. Yeah, people have been healed and made well, and you can't.
Some of my mates would say to you, "I've seen David Blaine."
Yeah.
That's what they'd say.
In the ice
and he
thing.
was in an ice thing for 42 days, didn't even go to bog.
Well, that's it, isn't it? And that's where I think it's down to personal experience, isn't it? Where
Well, it
people
is,
say they've experienced something themselves, and for them, you know, it's. But I think I agree. I think there's things that happen. I've prayed for someone before, and they felt something. You know, their knee was bad. They prayed for it, and I've got to admit, I don't always have faith for that kind of thing. I was just praying because I thought I should. And they felt something like that, a heat or something on their knee. Something went like that. And then I thought afterwards, it was better. So I thought, they're going to be a Christian. And they, weren't fussed about it. Okay, never mind. Maybe that's just when I did it, Charlie. But
see, you said that, you see, now signs and wonders are so people look at us and think, well, they can't do that. And they know that God's done it. But so many people are blasé about stuff like that. I mean, I went to the local pub with my mates to watch the football a few months ago, 8 weeks ago, and this guy come up to me and he said, "Hey," he said, "You remember when you prayed for me in the Trafford Centre?" He said, "All my cancer's gone." He said, "It's disappeared." And I said, "Well, Jesus has took it away. You need to give your life to Jesus." He said, "Oh, I don't know about that." I said, "Well, I didn't take it away."
Yeah.
But, I like to think.
I've prayed for people, and like I was at a conference and some evangelisty fella got me up as a guinea pig, basically to say anyone can do this. Right? He picked me out of the whole crowd. If he can do it, anyone can. Right? And he got me to pray for some fella, and he had stomach cancer. This fella, and then I felt dead embarrassed on the stage and all this sort of stuff, and I just prayed for him, and then that was it. And then a year later, I was at the same conference, and he came up to me and said he'd been healed that night.
Yeah,
it was so, and it definitely wasn't me, because I had no faith. I was just saying, I was like praying as quick as I could to get off the stage.
And I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. I've been a Christian for a long time, and sometimes people get healed, sometimes people don't. Yeah. And God's got no favorites. He's not picking people to heal. But all I can say is that when I do pray, when you pray for lots of people, sometimes some people get healed, and that feels like it's worth pursuing. And I wish there was more of it, but I don't. I'd love to. I'd love to say Andy. We've got Andy.
We haven't spoke to Andy hardly.
We've got him. We got him a Diet Coke. He's going to have to earn that Diet Coke now. But Andy, I'd like to know about your story. How you come to faith as well, mate?
Because I heard he's from Bootle.
You're a Bootle lad, aren't you?
Good lads.
I am.
Good lads. Good lads.
In Bootle.
Good lads.
So I was towards like the dock end.
Oh
of Bootle. I grew up in a Christian home.
Okay.
I went to a Baptist church.
Okay, which one?
We're Baptist. Go on. Which
No.
Baptist church?
What was it called? Bethel Baptist Church.
Bethel, yeah.
We
Graham
know.
Jones, you've got him on in a couple of weeks.
He's coming on. He's at
The
Bethel
minister
now.
there now. Yeah,
right, okay. Oh,
Got him
that's
coming on. Graham, don't forget.
He's he watching now.
And when I was 10 years of age, so that's 1984, I went to Anfield to listen to Billy Graham.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah.
I was one of the people
that got
passing
that night.
books out on.
Do you know
that
what?
night.
The number of people we can still we do it every so often. It comes up for some reason, and we'll say who came to faith in Anfield, Billy Graham, and a number of hands always go up, don't they? It's a big legacy that.
Saved.
At Anfield.
Anfield, the best club in the world. You know what I mean? Are you laughing at?
Everyone still reckons it was a miracle that they sent the buckets out with the money for the collection and they came back with money. That was the biggest miracle. Never mind salvation. That they got the buckets back with cash in.
So that's when you came to faith, Andy, at Anfield.
Yeah, when I was 10. Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't really live a Christian life, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
But I did all the right things. I got baptized when I was 14. When I was 18, my mum and dad got divorced and we all stopped going to church.
Yeah.
And that was when the rave scene started. So I was into like popping pills and that at the weekend and then coming down for a few days and then just living for the weekend. And I got married and I had 2 kids. That marriage ended. And my ex-wife, to get back at me, made a really serious allegation against me. And I won't go into detail about it, but my head just went. I thought when I go to court, all I've got is no, I didn't, and that's not enough. And I convinced myself I was going to go to prison.
Right.
And like I say, my head had gone. I mean, like gone. And I remember it was a sunny afternoon in the summertime. I thought I walked to my sister's, And I was walking up the road, and one of my neighbours called me back and said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm just going to my sister's." Said, "You need to get dressed." I'd forgotten to get dressed. I just had a pair of boxer shorts on because my head had gone.
Wow.
Like completely gone. I was almost sectioned as well. I don't know why I wasn't. I probably should have been. But that night when that happened, when I was walking to my sister's, I ran home and I just cried all the way, cried like all night. And I thought, I'm just going to end my life. And I popped every pill I could find, every blister pack I could find, and popped every pill. And there was loads of them on the table. And I thought, that'll take about 2 pints of water. And I got 2 pints of water and I sat down at the kitchen table and I put my hand to my mouth with a fistful of tablets. And an audible voice in my right ear just said, "No, Andrew." Like he was telling me off. And I should have jumped out my skin because I was on my own in the house. But I didn't, because it was like I recognised the voice. And you know, in the Bible, where it's described as sheep and Jesus is the shepherd. And the Bible says that my sheep know my voice. I knew it was God.
27.
That's right. And I knew it was God's voice.
Wow.
And then all I could think about was a Christian mate of mine, Eddie, who was always talking to me about Jesus during my backslidden years. So I get rid of all the tablets, and my mum took me to Eddie's, and I just got down on my knees and I just give my life to Jesus.
Wow.
And all I could think about was Jeremiah 29:11. That's that cliched verse that every Christian knows that, and John 3:16. But Jeremiah 29:11 means so much to me, because I thought, when I was about to take the pills, I thought, if God doesn't want me to end my life, he must have a plan and purpose for me. And now I'm like happily married to Danielle. I'm working at the Message as an Eden worker. Unfortunately, I'm living in Manchester, but
you can't have it all, can you?
You've got to pay some sort of cost, haven't you?
For your sins.
Penance, it's called. Manchester.
I mean, both.
Some people are calling it hell. But
Yeah.
there you go.
That's Old Trafford.
I can see why you guys are mates in a sense, because you've both had a similar journey of coming to a place of like complete despair, like lack of hope. And both have got a story of God seemingly intervening at a crucial moment. And it's powerful, isn't it? But I think what I noticed also about both your stories was that there'd been points along the journey where maybe God had intervened, whether or you got, like, you know, for yourself, Charlie, when you came to faith originally in the early 90s, or for Andy, you know, when you're 14, Billy Graham, Anfield. But it didn't mean like instantly everything got worked out. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's a story. That's the story of faith, isn't it? It is the story
of faith. It's this kind of journey stuff. I mean, I used to hate that word, but it's actually a really good. It's a good way of describing when God's works. Now, it doesn't always sort everything out, does it? You know what I mean? There's still stuff sometimes, and there's still things we do, and there's a lifetime of being. I don't know. And
I actually like that. I like that because but they're both in it. Like we talked about the miraculous, like those instant moments, which are beautiful as well. I think sometimes we prefer it was all like that. But sometimes Jesus seems to walk people on a journey, like, and rather than just in an instant, like it feels kind of.
I know it's a cliche again. We're doing cliches. It's the footprints in the sand thing, isn't it? It's that he's walking alongside you.
I put it up in my it up in my house today. That
have you?
I put it up in my house. Footprints.
And then I saw someone share something on Facebook.
I've seen it where sometimes there's drag marks.
Yeah, that's the bit. that bit there is where I was dragging
with a drag, you're kicking and screaming.
So Charlie, talk to us a little bit then about that slowing down, and it felt like God was doing a bit more in your life around that time, that COVID, and to now. Take us through these last few years, if you don't mind.
Well, about over the last, I would say, 7 or 8 years, I remember coming home. I think I'd been to Newcastle. It was Newcastle, Scotland. It was far away anyway. I came home 5 o'clock in the morning. Put my money away, sat on the bed, and I remember I had my head down. I used to be too tired, get in bed sometimes, and have a half hour in car up the drive when I got home. That's how it was. But I can just remember getting to my bedroom, and I just sat down. I'm looking on the other end of the bed, and my Bible's there, and it's about 3-4 foot away from me. And I'm just looking at the Bible, and it starts flipping its pages like a cartoon. And I know straight away the Holy Spirit's doing it. One by one, the page, I'm looking at it, and it landed on Isaiah 61. Spirit of the Lord is upon me, He's appointed me to bring the good news, set the captives free. So I'm thinking, I'm doing that now. That's what I'm doing that now. I'm doing that every night for you, God. I'm doing it at 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning when everybody's in bed. And then when I get to church, falling asleep, people who've never witnessed to anybody are having a go at me. That's what I used to think. Because I did. I'd get to church. I remember I used to get to the Foundry Church, and I used to look around and I'd always be angry because I knew people were talking about me falling asleep and I shouldn't be in the entertainment business. And, you know, no offense to them, I'd be leading thousands to Jesus over the years and thousands being healed, you know, and I'd get people having a go at me, you know, who couldn't lead a cat to a tray of milk, to put it bluntly, you know, and I used to, you know, it used to rankle with me. I mean, I've forgiven them all now, but it used to rankle with me, but that was my lifestyle. So this Isaiah 61 thing, just like that, pages flipping, happened 3 times.
Wow.
3 times. And I'm thinking, God, I can't start a ministry. You know, what's going on? I can't, you know, I go around and I pray for people. You know, you put me among the famous people, because what happened was, without going into too much detail, for the last 20 years, I would say my main job is to do what Jonathan Ross does on television. I interview all the famous people. You know, because I've interviewed, as you say, Sugar Ray Leonard, Mike Tyson, Pele, you name them, I've interviewed them. And I would end up witnessing to them and praying for them. That was my main job, and that's what God got me to do. You know, the enemy just tried everything to stop me from going into that. Actually sent somebody to stop me from doing that. But, excuse me, when that happened, and I retired, and you know, God was speaking to me and saying, I want you to start Isaiah now. So what I done, I started a ministry called Isaiah 61. And we started off at the Shannon Bradshaw community in Penketh in Warrington, you know, just with 3 people. And I mean, over the years, the ministry, you know, we have a different testimony every week. And you know, we've had different testimonies. I mean, Andy and Daniela spoke there for 3 years. We've had a different speaker every week, and people say, where do you get them from? I said, well, God gets them, and I know a lot of people. That's how it is. But within that 3 years, you know, we've seen a few hundred people saved. We've seen that many miracles. We've seen paralyzed legs healed, cancers healed, you know. And what happened during that, you know, I know Andy had spoke there. Then a guy called Cyril from the Message Trust.
I know Cyril.
Yeah,
He's a
you know
good lad,
Cyril.
Cyril. Yeah.
Well, Cyril came and spoke there, and he liked the idea of it. So we got together with Andy, and we started Minds Matters at the Message Trust. Now, you know, again, it's believing that good spiritual health is good mental health, but God's working miracles there. I mean, we've got ladies putting walking sticks down Zimmer frames. God's healing them left, right, and centre.
And so it's an opportunity for people to come along. And what do you do, Andy? What sort of things do you do at the Minds Matter on the weekly?
So at the minute, we're doing something called the Pyramid of Success, and it's a course.
That sounds like a cult, Andy.
No, it's definitely. And Charlie will vouch for it. It's definitely not.
Sounds like he's out of sell me something. This is going to cost me. I'm going to have 10 mates that I have to sell it to as well.
It's the only free pyramid you'll ever see.
Go on. I'm only messing around, Andy. Go on, sorry.
Anyway,
I couldn't resist.
Meanwhile,
it's written by a guy called John Wooden, and he's the most successful American basketball coach ever.
Oh wow.
And every team he coached won like the championships.
Yeah.
So we're doing this course, and it's designed to help you be the best that you can be.
Nice.
And it all links up with mental health. So we're doing that course, and we have ministry time, and Charlie gets involved in the ministry time afterwards.
Great.
People at the beginning of the group, they get to share how the week's been. So we'll say that, you know, 0 to 10, 10 being like an amazing week. How's your week been? So people get to express themselves. And the ministry time at the end's been amazing, hasn't it, Charlie?
It says God's
really
good. I mean, again, the Great Commission is that, you know, you said it yourself, you know, we all lay hands on people and it can be healed. You know, people have different spiritual gifts. I mean, I think Andy's biggest gift, he sees pictures. God gives him pictures. visual pictures that you know, and it's an amazing gift.
Wow.
I mean, for me, it would be words of knowledge and healing, and I mean, because of the person I am. I mean, the other week I prayed for 3 people in Asda who were healed in the day, and that's what I do. A little bit like Todd White. If I see somebody limping, I'll get talking to him, asking to pray for him. You know. I mean, one guy, it was dead funny. I prayed for him, told him about Jesus. He couldn't walk and he nearly ran off because he ran away from Jesus. But, you know, stuff like that happens. We had a guy called Phil Hamilton at church, and Phil couldn't walk at all. And he was shuffling along like a bloke of 120. And when I prayed for him, he said, just go and do something you couldn't do, meaning touch your toes or something. He went out, started running up and down. He's doing half marathons now.
Wow.
So stuff like this, to me, it's natural because my faith in God is off the Richter scale. I remember going to Liverpool TV, you know, and this is how God is, you know. I went for Liverpool TV as a presenter's job about 5 years ago. And I walked in there and they'd heard about this comedian who was multi-talented, who was an MC, auctioneer and everything. So they give me a script to read and I went, and I couldn't read anything. And I'm thinking, what happened there? But God got me down there for one reason only. There was a guy called Kevin Doherty, a producer. And my mate Derek introduced me to him within must have been 30 seconds of getting in there. And he shook hands with me, and he shook hands with me like that. I noticed his hands didn't move. His hands could not move. They were as stiff as this table. So I asked him what was going on, and he told me the disease. And I said, can I pray for you? He said, yeah. He said, you can. So he thought I meant I'll go and pray for him. I said, no, can I pray for you now? So I grabbed hold of his hands, prayed for him. And I wish he had it on video after. He was like that. He must have been like this for 10 minutes.
Wow.
And he was like that. And the Holy Spirit, I just said to him, you can go and play your guitar now and get back in church. He said, how do you know I played the guitar and I was in church?
Wow.
But, you know,
good.
That's sort of the type of thing, you know. But this type of thing happens, as I say, it's happening every day. I mean, you said before, there's also the people you pray for and they don't get healed.
Yeah.
But, you know, Isaiah 55 verses 8, 9 and 10 says the heavens are higher than the earth. So my thoughts higher than your thoughts, my ways higher than your ways. Sometimes I say, well, Lord, why was he not healed? And sometimes God will just sort of not answer me and then say, well, it's between me and him.
Yeah. And
or he might even show me.
There's something within me as I've thought about sickness, death, and all those things that it just feels so. In one sense, it's completely human. It's like it's a process that we were all going through to some degree, but in other ways, it feels like such a violation, like illness and sickness. When you see people caught up in it, and it's evil, isn't it? Isn't it evil? And that belief, the Christian belief and hope that God ultimately is going to sort it all out, is, you know, wipe every tear away. The Bible says he's going to heal no more sickness. And that's what we hope for.
Amen.
And we look forward to. But also there does seem to be this, like, that's that future reality.
Glimpses of the kingdom.
But we see we get little like a taste of it now, you know, like almost as like a hint of what's coming in the end. And I think when we see those things, it just makes us go, this is how it should be. This is what the world should be like. It should be getting sorted and put to rights. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing what you're both doing. And we really appreciate you coming to share about it. And we're going to do a game now, Charlie. Do you know, we're changing the pace very quickly. We've loved, and we're going to come back to you for a story as well soon. You're right, Marion. How you doing? Marion's one of my friends. She's coming up to Liverpool next Monday. Monday to Friday by coach. Come on, Marion, come and say hello.
Come and live in his house for a week.
No, Alan will pick you up.
Come on, man.
Come on, Finnegan's next time.
Well,
Marion,
next week.
Come on next Wednesday, Marion. Come and have a pint at Finnegan's. It'd be lovely to see you. We'll work it out. But we've been playing a game, basically, Charlie. We play a little game every week. Yeah. We'll get you to tell a little story in a minute as well. But basically, we've been playing this game called Linky. Either of you played it?
No.
It's nonsense. That's why you have to play.
I've been receiving a lot of
threats.
Yeah, we do.
I've been receiving a lot of abuse, so we're mixing it up. So Alan's gonna have a game tonight. He's gonna have a go.
Yeah,
and just let us know what you think.
It's got to be better than Linky, hasn't it? Let's be honest.
He's got his glasses on, so that means he's going to be doing some reading. So brace yourself.
Yeah, brace yourselves. Yeah, you've seen the classic game show, Blankety Blank.
Charlie's probably presented it.
Yeah, it probably has. Yeah. So, and it's just been brought back, hasn't it? On the telly. It's on the telly with what's his name off the chase? What's his name? Bradley Walsh. Bradley Walsh is doing it.
Alive,
This is what made me think of it.
Is he still on the telly, Bradley Walsh?
Yeah, he's still on the telly.
Heck.
God hasn't told him to retire. So I thought we'd play Blankety Blank.
Has it got a theme tune?
Blankety blank, blankety blank, do do do, blankety blank, blankety blank, do do do,
Is that
blankety
stop?
blank, blankety blank, blankety blank, blankety blank.
Is this a real program? Have you ever heard of this?
Yeah,
Andy?
yeah.
And does that sound anything like
He used
the
to have
theme
the
tune?
worst
It's not
presents.
bad.
It's not
The
bad.
worst presents
You're
ever.
making us feel dull saying
Yeah,
that.
it was the worst presents. If you failed on it,
Presents, prizes.
yeah, you got it. You got like a blankety blank checkbook and pen.
What
So
do you mean?
if you failed,
What, like a...
just that was it, like a little trophy thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but they
Alright.
used to win things like a fridge freezer.
Nice.
It was terrible. It was awful.
All right,
But
go on. So we're going to
the
have a go at
game's
this
quite
tonight.
good. But so we're gonna play, and we're gonna use Charlie as the
Guinea pig.
Go on, Charlie.
He's the person who's got to guess it.
Okay.
But
He's a
me,
good sport.
you, and Andy,
Okay.
we've got to have something in our heads, and don't cheat, right? We don't like cheats, right? I'll read it out. You tell us after a bit. We'll get the people,
people
from home
at
to help
home.
you, right? And we'll get you say what you think the blank is, and we'll have something in our heads that we've already decided we're going to say. Yeah.
So you can
I
join
would
in
have
at
got
home.
pen and paper, but I forgot, and so
Okay.
you couldn't cheat properly, right? So
So people
right.
can join
you
in.
can join in at
Okay.
home. Yeah.
I don't think this sounds very... Like, Linky sounds better than this.
I think he's awful. I think he was awful. Wasn't
was
Linky
good.
awful, everybody? Well,
Don't-
come on. Right into him.
Don't...
Anyway.
Right into him. What? Post-it stamp.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
the
the matter with you?
go on. Sorry, Andy. Sorry, Charlie.
Right, so we're blankety blank. Okay.
Blankety blank.
So the first one, Andy,
Okay.
and I'm going to get your answer there.
I still
Get
don't
your
quite
answer.
understand how this works, but I think, will I get it as we go?
You will, yeah.
Okay. All right. We're doing Dinky Linky next week.
We're not doing Dinky Linky next week. We're doing blankety blank next week.
Help us
Okay.
at home.
Okay. My mum, Linda,
Linda.
might be watching, right?
You're right, Linda.
She's always on a diet, right?
a bit harsh.
Always on a diet.
I think your mum's in great shape.
That's because she's always on a diet, right? She's always on a diet. So on Mother's Day this year, instead of flowers, I got her a bunch of blank.
So what do I do?
So you've got to think of what the answer is. Wait there, Charlie. Don't come out with it yet. We're going to give them at home
What's-
chance to answer in. I'll
what's a
read it
bunch of
again.
blank? I've not heard of that. What's a blank?
Shut up. You know this because I told you it this afternoon. So don't start, right? Pretending. Right. My mum is always on a diet.
Help us at home.
So on Mother's Day, instead of flowers, I got her a bunch of blank.
Okay.
What could it be?
And when
What
do we
could it
say?
be?
Do you want?
In a minute, no, he has to give us his answer
Okay.
first,
All
and then
right.
we reveal ours
Okay.
in sequence.
Okay.
I'll start with you because you're
Okay.
annoying me, right? Right. So at home, what do you think it is? What do you think it is?
Do you want me to tell you what people are saying at home?
No,
or we
no,
wait
we'll
till
tell
afterwards?
you it afterwards.
I know what it is.
Okay,
You know
Charlie
what it is.
knows.
So hang on,
Wait,
Charlie.
don't say anything, Charlie.
My mum is always on a diet. So on Mother's Day, instead of flowers, I got her a bunch of
Cans of Coke.
a bunch of cans of Coke. I'm wondering how you did so well on the telly, Charlie. I'm not gonna lie. It's good. A bunch of cans of Coke.
Yeah. all right.
Can we see what people have been writing on there now, Tam?
Cans of Coke.
Come on, at least.
People have gone with grapes, bananas, grapes, bananas, broccoli. This person must be related to you, Charlie.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Can I say what I would have gone for?
What did you? So hang on, son. My
Yeah.
mum is always on a diet. So on Mother's Day, instead of flowers, I got her a bunch of.
Instead of flowers,
Yeah,
I was thinking of flowers.
it was in the title.
We're
You're-
doing,
you're
we're doing
wasting
Linky
Charlie.
next week. We're doing Linky.
Well, no.
Grapes,
So
grapes. That's what I'd have gone for.
Can we play I Spy instead? It's a bit easier.
Grapes.
Okay, Andy. What was
What
you
are
going to
your
say?
answer?
I was going to say bananas.
Yeah, I was going to say bananas.
You've changed it since earlier. It didn't say flowers in that when you told me earlier. You
was
changed that
'cause
because
I
I was
wasn't
going to say
reading it.
flowers.
I wasn't reading
Okay,
it.
go on then.
I was remembering.
So we didn't get it anyway because Charlie's
No,
the one who's
Charlie got no points on that round. We're having another round.
We're doing Linky next week.
We're not
We're
doing
doing
next
Linky.
week.
This
We're
is
not,
horrendous.
we
All right,
won't.
go on. Help us at home
I'm
again.
going to bar him. Never
broccoli.
mind.
Tommy,
Right.
what are you thinking? It ain't
Tommy,
broccoli,
yeah.
is it?
All right, this is the second
A
one,
bunch of
Charlie.
broccoli.
Okay. We might only have 2 because I'm guessing you're struggling.
We're doing Linky.
My sister likes weepy movies. I haven't even got a sister.
Weepy movies. Who's ever described it like that? Weepy movies, like romantic, like crying ones.
I don't know.
Okay, weepy movies.
It could be scary ones where she cries.
We're
Who
doing
knows?
Linky next week.
My sister likes weepy movies, right? On
Have you
one
got a
day,
sister?
no, I
You're
just
a
said
single
that.
child.
You're not taking this seriously enough for
Go
my
on,
life.
go on. Go on.
We all have to like be best behaviour for Linky,
I
don't
know,
we?
because it's
Yeah.
good. Go
But
on.
no, my sister
Yeah, doesn't
likes
exist.
weepy movies.
This
What
is
sort of
madness.
movies is she?
One day, she ran out of tissues and wiped her nose on a blank.
Okay.
Okay, so
This
at
is
home,
this. Charlie, I'm going to give you a heads up, mate.
My sister-
in Coke.
likes weepy movies. One
Yeah.
day, she ran out of tissues
Yeah.
and wiped her nose on a blank. So, Charlie, you wiped her
Sleeve.
nose.
Wait, don't tell us. Does he tell us?
Sleeve.
Yeah, we've got a picture already.
Oh, okay. No, don't you come to us for... Oh, yeah, okay. Sorry, go on. What did
No,
you
I
say,
don't
Charlie?
say it
Yeah,
first.
it's fine. Sleeve. Okay, yeah.
Okay,
Go
sleeve.
on.
Anyone say sleeve on there?
Yeah, we got lots of
Oh,
sleeve.
we got a few sleeves there. They would have been all right for
Bring
you.
back poetic justice, someone says. No, we called that wonky donkey.
Wonky donkey.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, we do wonky
Yeah.
donkey next week.
Anyway, yeah. So, what would you say? My sister likes weepy movies. One day she ran out of tissues and wiped her nose on a.
Blank. No.
I am seriously going to
Sleeve.
slap
Sleeve.
you.
Sleeve.
Sleeve.
That's what I said. Yes.
Hey!
Yes, Charlie.
Sleeve.
What were you
Okay,
gonna
Andy,
say?
what were you going to say?
Right, get this. A dog. Because I watched my mate wipe his nose on his dog.
Oh, you're kidding.
Wow. I'm sure there's rules against that.
Yeah, this
Sleeve.
PCA will be
Oh,
on now.
no.
People said sleeve, to be fair.
Dog,
Duvet
yeah.
cover.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I-
Emma
I-
saying duvet
I was
cover.
gonna say-
You skank.
Now you know what she does in bed.
What's the duvet cover? Lemon, that
Curtains, I was going to say.
newspaper, someone said shelf.
Curtains.
Curtains.
Curtains. So we got one.
If I saw someone wiping their
You got
nose
one.
on a curtain.
1 point.
Go on, do the last one.
Last one.
We're doing
Last one. We'll do it quick.
Linky next
I'm
week.
on a roll now.
You are
You know,
Charlie.
yeah. Okay. This
The coke,
this
the
is
coke
a,
thing
this is a good
threw
one.
me.
I
Yeah,
can't get over that. I'm not
You
with him
redeemed
at all.
yourself with the sleeve.
I'm not with him.
World famous ballet star Rudolf Nureyev, I think it is. I don't know. Is he world famous ballet star?
I
Yeah,
don't know.
he is,
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
is he?
Rudolf
Charlie
Nureyev.
Russian as
interviewed
well.
him.
Yeah. Is given up dancing. He says his blank is not what it used to be.
Okay.
So,
Well,
world
we give
famous,
people a chance at home.
world famous
Am I
ballet,
getting the
ballet
first shot
star
here?
You
Rudolf
will, but wait for it. Wait
Nureyev
for it.
is given up dancing. He says his blank is not what it used to be. Right in.
Okay, let us know
in.
at home,
Right
quick as you
in.
can. Write it down.
Yeah.
Is blank is
You
not what
keep
it
thinking about it, Charlie.
Get
I've got it.
Get an
I've
answer.
Yeah,
got
hang
it.
on a minute then. Hang on a minute.
I've got it, and
Have
it's
you got
not
an
cold.
answer?
Don't worry.
All right, I've got
Okay,
an answer.
I've got an answer. I've got an answer. I've got an answer. Has that people got an answer?
Yeah, there's a couple of answers. I'm not reading that.
I can imagine some of the ones
Yeah.
that
That
are
could
coming
win
today.
nugget of the week, that one. Sorry.
Tell me. You need
So,
to come and do that alpha course. again,
world
Tommy.
famous ballet star Rudolf Nureyev is
Yeah.
giving up dancing. He says his blank is not what it used to be. Charlie.
Balance.
Balance. Wow.
Good answer.
Great answer.
Great answer, that.
Not going to lie. It's not what I've got.
It's not what I've got either. It's not what I've got.
So, Andy, we'll come to you first this time.
I was going to say pirouette.
Pirouette.
Pirouette. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want me next?
Yeah, go on.
I was going to say tutu.
It's tutu isn't what it used to be.
Yeah.
Which
It was
game?
the only
What's the
ballet
tech gotta
reference I
do
could
with
think
it?
of.
I've got to be honest.
It's the only ballet reference I could think
I
of.
don't think the fellas wear tutus.
They don't. I know that.
They do in Manchester.
Yeah.
I don't think you can get a bunch of coke neither. So. You probably can in Manchester, to be honest.
It was the way you looked at that coat when you said it.
Say what you see.
Come on, you'll go. You've got to. What were you going to
I
say?
went with what most people went with at home.
What did you?
Crumpet Barbara pirouette.
Pirouette.
She could actually spell it as well. I'm impressed. I don't think I could have spelled it.
What, I couldn't have spelled that.
Style.
So-
Someone went for.
Ah.
Tommy went for. Well, Tommy knows what he went for. I'm not going to say it, but he's telling us Kath made him do it.
Kath made him do it.
Evening
well,
Kath.
so Charlie, you're our first player to play that game, so you're in the lead. You're on the top of the leaderboard with 1 point.
Well done.
Out of a possible
done,
9.
Charlie.
I know what's be like Senag.
I wanted to win his next game. You've got to keep him.
I know, yeah.
Do you know what? I also think you might be the champion forever because we're never playing that game again.
It was better than Linky.
It was.
Have you got any?
No, I'm not doing that this week.
Any
Let's have
bits
a
of
story.
Wisdom? Have you got no bits of wisdom?
I've
to
not got
dish
any
out?
wisdom.
Ah,
Apart from, I could do one. Charlie, sometimes I do some wisdom and share it with the people.
Okay.
We call it Tom's Top Tips. And I think the only one I've got tonight, and actually it made me think of this because Andy was talking about running around in his pants.
Yeah.
And
But that wasn't a good thing.
No.
was off
Well,
my
it
head.
depends who. Yeah. Well, I think. I'm just trying to. Yeah, here we go. Knowledge is like underwear. It's useful to have, but not necessary to show it off.
Oh,
learn a lesson, Andy.
that's
Learn a
nice.
lesson from it.
Yeah.
That's nice. I'm glad to come here tonight.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you
that's
go.
it.
Tom's top tips. It's
Sleep
Tom.
well
People
tonight.
love that.
I've got Alan's awful advice.
You haven't, have you?
I have.
Is
yeah.
it as good as mine?
Alan's awful advice.
Okay, go on.
We're all born ignorant,
Yeah.
but you've got to work really hard at it to stay.
Did you make that up yourself?
Of course, I never. just
We're all born-
like what you said sounds a little bit like Nicky Gumbel.
Well, I've got some.
Sure, he must have pinched it off you.
I've got some right.
You've got some wisdom.
Wisdom.
Come on.
Wisdom, right?
Go on.
The owl is wiser than the chicken. Do you know why?
Go on.
You've never heard of a Kentucky Fried Owl?
That was better.
No
than
wonder
the-
you give up being a comedian.
Very good. Right. Well,
Oh.
it's that time of the
It
night,
is.
Charlie, where basically we have the opportunity for you to end up
Get him on the wall. lad.
on the wall.
On the wall.
On our wall, basically. Here, there's some illustrious names up
VIP
on our wall.
membership
VIP guests.
Yeah.
Many that Andy might know. We've got all sorts comedians. We've got MPs on the wall.
Yeah.
We've got who else?
Sam Ward's on there.
Sam Ward's, Chazza from Australia. We've got all sorts on here. Crumpet Barbara.
Shaz is back too.
Chazza's back all the way from Australia. So there's an opportunity here,
Who
Charles.
is Crumpet Barbara?
Uncle Barbara is a legend on Finnegan's.
Yeah,
Because we used to go to a theological college together,
yeah.
and we only went because Crumpet Barbara was there.
She got us through.
She got us there. She drew us in with the smell of crumpets.
To be, yeah. So that's
Amazing. And proper butter on them, you know.
Yeah,
so Crumpet Barbara.
So she used to make the
Right,
crumpets at the
okay.
breakfast.
and so she watches with her husband Jim.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
Yeah, it's boss.
So she's. I don't know. We put her on the wall in the hope that she'd come and make us some crumpets, but she hasn't done it yet.
I think she won something. I can't remember.
She did win something.
I
didn't she?
think
So
she bought
basi-
us a pint.
She did buy us a
Was on
pint.
buy
That's
me
it.
a coffee.
.com/Finnegan's.
Finnegan's. Which no one else seems to be able to find.
Buy us another pint crumpet, Barbara.
Yeah, come on, look at this. Look
So-
what we're drinking.
Charlie, this is serious though, because
Yeah.
if you get on the wall, you can come back whenever you want.
And
This
you're
could
an
be-
you're an insomniac, so like
Yeah.
you could be
I
early in the
was, no, I
morning.
wasn't,
Oh, I'm
not
glad you
now.
can sleep now.
God,
Don't be knocking me up at 4 in the
God's
morning.
healed me a bit, not now.
But if it all goes pear-shaped, then we
You're bad.
we
lad.
bar you basically.
Yeah, we have to buy.
and
you.
then we
Okay.
could never have
We
you
can't
back.
even ever talk to you. We'd have to walk
Right.
on the other side of the road if we see you.
cross over the road, my friend.
like the bad Samaritan, you know.
Yeah. So we'll pass over to you, Charlie, but we don't make the decision. People
No.
at home will make that decision. So we just go with the vote.
Me too.
Yeah.
So
And is
what
Andy
do
getting
I
tagged
have
on
to
as well?
do?
You just, oh, sorry, did I not explain? You have to tell a story.
Tell us a story that you
Sto-
think
a funny
makes
story,
you worthy
maybe,
of
or,
being
yeah,
a VIP
gives you
member
worthy
of
to get on the
Finnegan's.
wall.
Okay, I'd tell you a true story that happened 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Go on, fresh.
Talk about Laurel and Hardy. My friend Stan, he's helping me to do my house up. So as he's doing the house, he's doing all joinery. So his mate rings him up. So he said, Charlie, I'm just doing this. Speak to Brian. So Stan gives me his phone and I'm speaking to his mate Brian. So I'm speaking to his mate Brian for about half an hour. So Stan turned around and said, I can't find my phone. I said, what he said, he said, I can't find my phone. I said, well, I'll tell you what. I said, when I finish this phone call, I said, I'll ring it and see if he can find it. At least we both didn't know where the phone was. I said, the proper Laurel and Hardy sketch. Wasn't joking either.
I think you fit right in on a cruise now, Charlie.
Yeah.
I think you fit that age now.
Yeah.
You and Alan on the cruise.
Yeah.
You'd,
Let's do it, Charlie.
If you're looking for a double act,
Yeah.
Alan's
I'm
desperate.
terrible as well.
Very good, very good. Well, let us know at home. Can Charlie be on the wall? Does Andy get on the wall?
Do we ask Andy a story? I think we might have
Has
to
Andy
ask
got a story?
I've got a
Andy will
story.
have a story.
Okay.
He's from
All right.
Bootle. He's always got a story.
Shall we take him? Shall we take them as a package deal? Or do they
no,
get?
I reckon we do
one-
one each.
No, so they get the story. All right, then.
Yeah, one
Andy,
each.
let's see.
Come on,
Let's
Andy.
hear your story. Then we get
Okay.
everyone to vote on it.
So
Carla, wait, sorry, Andy, 1 second. Carla Thomas has popped in. Carla is our local councillor, and she was on the last episode
Yeah.
of Finnegan's. And
Before.
I just want to say, if you've not heard that episode of
Yeah,
Finnegan's, you really
fabulous.
need to check that out. It's
Yeah.
very, very good. You can get that on the Facebook, the YouTube, or you can go to wherever you get your
Get your
podcasts if you want to
podcasts,
listen to
yeah.
the audio. But my words,
Yeah, it was really
that was
good.
one of the good ones, wasn't it?
Hope.
This has been a great one too.
Hope over fear.
Hope over
Yeah.
fear. So check
Very
out
good.
that one. Councillor Carla Thomas.
Yeah.
Nice to have you in, Carla. Andy, serious stuff. Carla's on the wall. You could meet her if you get this right.
okay,
Go on, mate.
try this one. So when I was 14, me and my best mate Ian Darcy from Bedford Road lived 10 doors up from me. We started smoking. So at the top of the road, they were building new houses, and they were like half done. But if we jumped over the fence, it was like a private place where we could have a fag. So we jumped over and we have our fag. We go back home. Next day, we do the same. We thought, we're not going to get caught here. Jumps over the fence. Only this time, the builders had left a porn mag. So, is this all right to tell?
Yeah, come on, carry on.
I
So-
don't know where it's going,
Oh,
mate.
don't worry. Don't worry. It's going to
It's
be fine.
fine. Go on.
It's going to be fine. So
Tom's
me
worried you get sacked by Sam.
me mate Ian rips it in half, and I have half, and he has half, and we go home and stash it under the bed. Go to school the next day, and I'm panicking, thinking, "Oh, if my mum and dad find that, that's it. I'm grounded forever." So I get home from school, and I thought, right, I've got to get rid of it. So he shoves it under my jumper. As I'm leaving the house, my mum was coming in, and she went, "What have you got under your jumper?" And I was like, nothing. And she got this grip on me, and I don't know how I got out the grip. So I'm running down the road with this magazine up my jumper. I run over the road, and there's like a railway, and I thought, right, I'll just throw it over the railway. So I'm running down this alleyway. My mum's hot pursuit behind me. And as I throw this half a porn mag up in the air, a big gust of wind hit it, and it went everywhere. And it started blowing up Bedford Road.
Oh, my word. And did your mum find you out?
Well, she's legging me.
She's on just let him out.
She's legging me all around the streets, and she finally caught up with me, and I got grounded for 2 weeks.
Rightly so, Andy. Rightly so. Right, let's see what people
Yeah.
are saying.
Okay. So Charlie first. Let's do Charlie
let's-
first.
We've had Charlie's
He's on
response.
the
He's
wall.
on the
is he?
wall. Get
Charlie's
him
on the wall. Get Charlie on the wall.
Carla said on the wall. Cammy in Scotland said on the wall. Barbara said this
Who's
has
Cammy
been
in Scotland?
my mate Cammy from Scotland. How you doing,
You
Cammy?
haven't got any mates.
I've got mates everywhere.
You haven't. How do you know him, Cammy?
Cammy,
Who is Cammy anyway?
he's a mate from Scotland.
He's a mate. Where'd you meet him?
Music college.
You're stretching. I can see the way you're looking up. You're like, let's to meet him. I know a Cammy somewhere.
I'm coming up to Scotland, Cammy. We need to meet up for a pint.
Yeah,
I'm coming.
yeah.
Where do you live in Scotland, Cammy? Let me know. Just in the comments.
Over to
We're
Edinburgh.
all wait. Have you given me the address? No. So, okay, so yeah, you're in.
Charlie,
mate.
you're in.
Charlie,
Yeah,
you're
well done,
in. So
mate.
Charlie's done.
Jobs are
Now,
gone.
yeah, let's have a vote now on Andy.
Now on
And,
Andy, come on. Where are we getting on
Let's
Andy?
give a. You keep
The
an eye on the
lads
comments
in.
while I
I'll
get him
try.
up.
I'll try.
Charlie, it's Charlie Hanson. That's what I'm getting on. That's the name, isn't it?
Yeah.
Charlie.
Hansen. Hansen.
Oh, did I got
like
it wrong?
Alan, like Alan Hansen.
He did get it wrong.
You
Like.
know what? I
Like the
tried to
great
autocorrect
defender.
to the right spelling, and I changed it back
Did
when
you?
I was turning on. So
Like the
sorry
great
about that.
Liverpool defender.
Yeah. Very good, Charlie Hanson. What about? Don't touch the computer, Alan.
I'm not.
All right, let's
Nothing's
see.
happening.
Just finished work. Just outside Edinburgh, Cammy is.
See there.
You're right.
We like
How
Cammy.
did you know? You knew that.
I didn't.
You
I'm thinking of doing an Edinburgh show. Need somewhere to stay, don't I? Yo,
Oh,
mate, Cammy. Yo, mate. I like Cammy. I'll be your mate as well.
I've got a bit of advice for you.
What?
Don't do an Edinburgh show.
I've seen some of them. I can't be that man.
Double act, Charlie. Come and do Edinburgh.
Charlie. Yeah.
No, he's
No.
not committing, Alan. He's leaving you hanging.
Just left me there, didn't he?
Brutal.
Defo
I've
just
never
left
done
me
the
there.
Edinburgh Festival, but
Neither
I've
have
played
I.
a lot of times round Edinburgh.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I've never
Alan's
done
gonna
it.
be
It's a bucket
driving.
list.
He's going to be driving around Edinburgh begging people to come to his show.
I
On the
vote for
wall.
Andy's mum to go
Andy's
on the wall.
mum goes on the wall.
Andy's not still got the mag.
Very good. Andy's mum.
No, all
It's
of Bootle's
a
got
good
it.
story.
All the Bootle's got it, yeah.
Yeah.
This is a good story, that.
It is a good story.
On the
Oh, he's
wall,
going on the wall. Okay,
Yeah,
very good.
very good. Very
I'll
good.
put you next to Charlie.
Oh,
Yeah,
this
well,
is
The-
my
the- the
this is my dream to have my name on that wall.
Well, there you go, mate. You
Well,
See, the
fulfilled.
difference
This is
between
it.
me and Andy is my mum would have never caught me. I was too fast.
Hey, my mum was fast.
I love that. I love your mum that she just sensed something was wrong.
Yeah.
And so she chased you
I
up
mean,
the
come
street.
on.
I love that
It's not hard, is
commitment.
it? You can see something up the top, and what's under your top? Nothing.
I know, but what did she think it was? What did you think it was going to be?
It doesn't matter. It's obviously
Oh.
something that you don't want your mum to see, isn't
Yeah.
it? So, you know,
So your mum was like, I'm having that.
I'm having it.
Yeah.
I'm finding out what he's done, what he's been up to now. He was obviously one of them kids that was up to stuff all the time,
That's it.
you know?
Was Billy Graham before or after this, Andy?
Before. It was before.
He-
Yeah,
he
it was before.
it.
He was before it.
Yeah.
That's
The
proper
Lord had a
naughty,
work
innit?
to do in your life still. That's it.
That's
I'm
what
a
he
good
said
boy
before.
I can imagine Danielle
talked-
chasing you up the street
Yeah.
now.
We talked about it, didn't we?
Very
We
good.
talked about it. We talked about Janie.
Yeah, that's it.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway, we
very
had a
good.
good night.
What a night this
Yeah.
has been, Charlie. Thank you so much for coming down.
Yeah,
But
thank you.
Andy probably
you for
said,
being
"Come and hang out
fabulous.
with these mad scousers." And
You know what we haven't done though? You haven't heard some of his impressions.
oh, you're kidding. We've had all sorts of impressions on here before, haven't we?
We have.
Someone did an
Gladiator.
impression of Alan.
Someone did an impression
Someone
of me.
did an impression of Gladiator, Maximus
Same
Viridius. Yeah, same person. Also, the fella on the TV,
Which one?
Michael McIntyre. Michael
yeah,
McIntyre. Mikey
McIntyre.
Ferguson
That was
does a
that was
bang
a
on.
classic. Yeah.
What's your best impersonation? Don't say Gerald Sinsad because I don't know who he sounds like.
Yeah, we'll put-
He
I
does
mean, I do a lot of boxes and
Go on.
They're all just like,
Gotta be Chris Eubank.
Chris
Yeah.
Eubank.
Chris Eubank.
Chris
Go on.
Eubank, come on.
imagine a conversation between Chris Eubank and Nigel Benn.
Okay.
So one must know that I'm simply the best, because one must know that I'm a boxer, and in the business of boxing, I'm the best. Listen now, you listen to me, you listen to me. I beat you twice. You got one decision. I'm the best. Yes, but my son is a boxer, and my daughter is an Alsatian.
Very good. Very good.
Very good.
Very
Wow,
good.
Very
Yeah,
good.
very
I like
good.
that. Do you
Yeah.
know what? Interesting. We had someone on before who
Steve Legg.
was
Steve
mates
Legg.
with Nigel
Mates
Benn.
with Nigel Benn, and Nigel Benn dug his pond in his front garden.
There you go.
One
Yeah,
day.
I've done a lot of work with Nigel over the years. You know, we've done quite a few things, done prison ministry, different events. You know,
I'm glad you added ministry to the end of that.
We've done
well, he's actually in Australia now, and he's a pastor over there in Australia.
Is he?
Nigel, yeah.
He's a Christian as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're everywhere, aren't they?
Yeah, Evander Holyfield is. John Jones, UFC heavyweight champion of the world, you know.
Wow.
So many different ones in sport. I mean, I've witnessed to Chris Eubank a few times, and that's hard work witnessing to Chris.
Especially if you talk to him in his voice.
Well, you know, the first time he ever done it, you know, he threatened to knock me out. Seriously. Barry McGuigan booked me for the boxing awards in London. And it was dead funny. I took Eubank off, and like Lennox Lewis and everybody were laughing their heads off, but Chris didn't like it, you know.
No.
He's okay with me now. He's got used to me, you know. I mean, but at one time he didn't like it. But I, you know, when I told you about doing that show with Muhammad Ali, the one in London that we done, Muhammad couldn't come to that one, and I ended up booking for Carlton Television, Ernie Shavers, and Chris Eubank and Prince Naseem. And it was dead funny because I'd took him off. So when I took him off, he walked to the stage and strutted up as he does into his complete silence. And he never said anything for a minute. And everybody's looking at each other. And he said, this is what he said. He said,
When it is raining, why does one take an umbrella? Because life gets you wet.
That's what he said. And nobody laughed. And then after a minute, everybody burst out laughing. You know, he's just strange like that, Chris.
Strange. What a night.
What a night.
I feel like we're going to have you back again, Charlie, for a round two.
Anytime we'll come back.
Round two, I like that. Where you went there.
Thank you. So we'll have to have you back, Charlie.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for coming.
There's 1,000,001 stories, trust me.
So good.
Fabulous.
So good.
But we're going to have to call time,
we're going to call time, aren't
Have
we?
we got a nugget of the week that we did? Did we pick one?
Tommy Norbury.
Tommy Norbury's getting it.
Well done,
You didn't
Tommy.
show us comments.
We all know what he said.
But everyone can read it.
And he probably enjoyed Andy's story at the end there. That's all I'm going to say. Phil.
Well done, Tommy. We'll get you some
Tommy.
beer mats for
And
you.
it's fortunate that you
And
live
we
in
can just
Netherton.
pass you then.
We'll pass
that's
them on to
that's
Kathy.
fabulous.
So,
Anyway,
double bonus.
time, gentlemen, please.
All right. Well, make sure that you come and join us next week, Wednesday night at Finnegan's. Also, you can catch up on previous podcasts.
We've got your mate who's coming up to Liverpool.
Have we?
Well, we've got no one else booked.
That's it, Marion.
At the moment.
We'll see you
Marion's
there.
coming on.
All right. Good night. God bless. We'll see you again next week.